This episode contains discussions of homophobia and war. Listen at your own discretion. It is Saturday, the 29th of June, 2024. My name is Pigeon Rose, and this is my song of the day. Today we're talking about a song that I don't know how I discovered it, which is quite strange. I usually know exactly where I discovered songs, partially because I've been making monthly playlists, a new playlist every month, since December 2015. And I put in all the songs that I've discovered or have just been listening to a lot there. So that's almost 9 years that I've been doing this. And so generally I can track, I can certainly see when I discovered songs, but also given the context of other songs around it, I can often place it in my life. So for example, in one of the months, I think it's like August 2017, you can see the Sense8 theme music and Way Down in the Hole in the same playlist because I watched Sense8 and The Wire that month. So that gives you greater context. And this song is in my playlist for December 2016, and I don't know how the fuck it got there. I don't know how I discovered this song, and it gives me no context on how I discovered it at all. So that's very helpful. But anyway, the song is Forbidden Colors by David Sylvian and Ryuichi Sakamoto. Now, Ryuichi Sakamoto is, or was rather, he unfortunately passed last year. He's one of the most influential figures in music overall, but Japanese music specifically. He was one of the 3 members of Yellow Magic Orchestra, and have you heard Japanese music? You've heard something either he was involved in or influenced. Like, that's just kind of the kind of person he is and the kind of band that Yellow Magic Orchestra was. He also did like movie scores and video game scores as well. And there's a movie called Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence, from 1983, directed by Nagisa Oshima. It's about prisoners of war in a Japanese camp in Java during World War II. It stars some Japanese actors, some English actors, and 2 of the central characters. One of them is a South African prisoner of war, played by David Bowie, and one of the other central characters, the captain of the guard, is played by Ryuichi Sakamoto himself. He did the music for the movie and also appeared in it, and there's kind of a their storyline is central to the story, and we'll get into that after we listen to the song. But the point is, there's this main theme to the movie called Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence, and there was later a version with vocals created with David Sylvian of the band Japan, and that's what we're listening to today. So this song is not in the movie, but it's a version of the music from the movie, and thus is inextricably linked with the movie. The music video contains clips of the movie. So we're going to talk about the movie more afterwards, and we're also going to talk about the song and all that. But first, let's listen to it, and then we'll come back and talk about it. In sort of a similar way to Two Men in Love, which we talked about yesterday, there's just something about the arrangement of this song that, like, makes me overcome with emotion. Sakamoto was a master of his craft. It's kind of the whole thing. An expert, a genius musician. So, the instrumental theme in and of itself is already great, but this vocal version is really what gets me. So like I said, don't know how I discovered this song, but I did. And I knew it was the theme song for a movie because I looked it up, but I was like, I need to watch that movie, but I didn't watch it for ages. And then when I decided to do Pride songs, I was like, oh, I should do Forbidden Colors. Wait, I haven't seen that fucking movie. So I watched it last week, and holy shit, it's a really good movie. Fuck. Guys, it's a really good movie. You should watch it. It's very sad. Obviously, it's a war movie. A lot of the themes of it are like, not necessarily racism, obviously racism, but like more specifically, like it's about people trying to bridge cultural gaps because, it tells the story of this British translator who's trying to communicate with the Japanese people who have them prisoner. It's a whole thing. I won't get into it. But the relevance of this song and why we're talking about it on Pride Week is that a central part of the movie is that Sakamoto's character first sees David Bowie's character at like a court hearing thing and like is instantly fascinated by him. And like it's never outright stated this way because it is a movie from the 80s about the 40s or 30s, but like he falls in love with him at first sight. That's what happens. And there's just so much yearning in this movie, and it's really interesting. It's really well made. The music really accentuates that, I think. And so what's interesting about this song is that it kind of talks about this theme of forbidden love. And I really like the term forbidden colors because it's like, my love wears forbidden colors is the refrain. And it's like, I don't know if that's specifically the reference, but it sounds like he's talking about the pride flag, right? My love wears forbidden colors. Because when I think of wearing colors, I think of like a uniform or a jersey, like a sports team's colors, like you're wearing their colors, right? And so the idea that you're wearing your love wears forbidden colors makes me think of a rainbow heart or a heart draped in a rainbow cape, So I think it's a really interesting turn of phrase. The lyrics themselves are a bit they're a bit strange because they're kind of like, they're very Christian, which is interesting. But I think it takes the kind of, this is entirely my interpretation of it, but it really does feel like kind of rationalizing love through the love of Christ. It's a strange thing. We'll just go through it. The wounds on your hands never seem to heal. I thought all I needed was to believe. Right away, we got a reference to the stigmata. The wounds on your hands never seem to heal. Jesus Christ was nailed to the cross through his hands and feet. And, there's this image you see a lot of the resurrected Christ who still has the holes in his hands. There's the famous story of doubting Thomas, who doesn't believe that Jesus has actually come back from the dead until he touches the holes in his hand. And so it's an interesting thing here to bring that up. The wounds on your hands never seem to heal. I thought all I needed was to believe. It brings to mind this image of Thomas touching Jesus' hands and kind of wondering about his own faith, And then the next lines, here am I, a lifetime away from you, the blood of Christ or the beat of my heart. My love wears forbidden colors. My life believes. So it makes me think, with this combination of talking about believing, it's like, it feels like someone wondering if their love is true, if that makes sense. The reference to doubting Thomas, I thought all I needed was to believe. My life believes, right? It's interesting. It makes me think like maybe, because here am I, a lifetime away from you implies distance. And so it makes me think like they've been separated in some way. And then senseless years thunder by, millions are willing to give their lives for you. Does nothing live on? Millions are willing to give their lives for you? Sounds like a religion. But also it sounds like war, right? Because it is a war movie. And then learning to cope with feelings aroused in me. Wait. My hands in the soil, buried inside of myself. My love wears forbidden colors. My life believes in you once again. So he's learning to cope with these homosexual feelings. My hands in the soil, buried inside of myself. I'm not going to give you my thoughts on that line because it's a spoiler for the movie and you should really watch it, but it does make me think of a specific thing from the movie, and if you know, you know. My love wears forbidden colors. My life believes in you once again. So it's like reinforcing this love, this belief, this faith, whether it's in Christ or another man. I'll go walking in circles while doubting the very ground beneath me, trying to show unquestioning faith in everything. Here am I, a lifetime away from you, the blood of Christ or a change of heart. So now he's talking about having doubt, trying to show unquestioning faith. It kind of makes me think, actually, overall, if the song is not about like kind of the way that, the colors are forbidden, right? The love is forbidden. It's like talking about trying to rebel against the societal taboo of homosexuality, right? He's doubting the very ground beneath him. He's thinking like, well, I know that I love this person, but people are telling me that it's wrong, that I shouldn't, and he's doubting the very ground beneath him. It's like, I know this ground exists and I'm walking on it, but people are telling me it isn't, I know my love exists, but people are telling me it isn't real or that it's wrong. The song is clicking with me as I go through the lyrics. I always thought it was a bit obscure lyrically, but I'm getting it now. And then once again, you get, my love wears forbidden colors, my life believes. My love wears forbidden colors, my life believes in you once again. This song is beautiful. I love this song. In the context of the movie, it's even more interesting, but even just on its own, it's really, really good. Really lovely musically. I really like David Sylvian's voice. I need to listen to more of his stuff, although he's not necessarily too proud of a few Japan albums, but we'll see. David Sylvian and Ryuichi Sakamoto collaborated a lot, actually. This was their second song together, and they also re-released and re-recorded this song many times. I'll probably link a few of the alternate versions below. Also, there are currently Forbidden Colors like limited edition merch on sale on David Sylvian's website. I discovered this like the day after I watched the movie. There's like t-shirts with the two of them and like badges and buttons and a notebook and a water container, and it's like pre-order until July, I think. So hey, if you're listening to this, you should get those. I'm probably gonna try and get one because it's limited edition, even though they're quite expensive. But yeah, we'll see. Do I have anything else to say about this? There's just something so interesting about this song to me. It's always like hit me emotionally. It's just connected to something within me, which is interesting. But also, like I mentioned, Ryuichi Sakamoto died last year. I was in work when I found out. It just popped up in like the news feed on my phone, and I immediately went to the bathroom and work and listened to this song. It's just come to mean a lot to me. And I think the movie will now too, because I've watched it. Yeah, no, I don't think I have much else to say. Wonderful song. I really like the lyrics now. I'm glad I read them properly and actually puzzled it out. And I hope you enjoyed it too. Like I said, I would recommend the song and its various re-recordings. I would recommend the movie. Oh, I'll also link the original version of the theme, which is just the instrumental of the song, basically. It is slightly different, but it's great in its own right. And, what did you think? Leave a comment, give me a like, subscribe, tell someone, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies. And I will talk to you for the final song of Pride Week.
Break it down.
Or a heart dropped. This is the famous story of doubting Thomas. Thomas is such... Does anyone actually pronounce it Thomas? Millions are willing to give their lives for you. Sounds like a religion. You can make a religion out of this.